Hey everybody, welcome back to Rocky Mount Style. My name is Patrick. I have a quick one for you today to show off my Grant Stone diesel boots in dark Burgundy Kudu. I picked these up on a Black Friday sale with a few other pairs of boots for myself and one for my wife when they were having the 20% off sale. So because of the sheer amount of stuff I ended up picking up both from Grant Stone and elsewhere around Black Friday, I didn't really start wearing these until recently. So this is a true first look video. I've only worn these a handful of times, so these are my first and initial impressions on the boot. So this is one of only 3 diesel configurations to come with the Commando outsole. The other 2, there's a Bison option and then the natural wax Commander. Other than that, a majority of the diesels come in the studded rubber outsole, and a few do come in a leather outsole as well. I think that'd be cool to try in the future, but not quite yet. I think due to the ruggedness of this boot, with the kudu leather, the scarring, sort of the color itself, and then the fact that there's a natural welt instead of, a dark welt, really makes these boots lean a lot more towards the casual side. I think you'd have a pretty tough time dressing these up. So I think the Commando outsole is the right choice for this particular boot, and it's my first Commando outsole on a diesel, so I like it. I do have a pair of the diesels in navy chrome excel. Yeah, I always want to call it green because it's green. Yeah, navy chrome excel that have the studded outsoles. And I like these just as good, if not better, than the studded outsole. So good choice with the sole. Now the leather itself I think is wonderful. With Kudu, in my opinion, you're probably either on the side of I love it or I hate it, or perhaps there's a middle ground where people are ambivalent to it. But I happen to fall on the side of the spectrum that loves the Kudu leather. I think the scarring is really interesting. I love the feeling of the leather. It's supple, but not in the same way that some cowhides are supple. It's just got a very different hand to it, which I've grown to love. I have 3 different pieces of footwear in Kudu. I have a Truman boot that's in a very light Kudu, which is cool. You can really see the scarring well. These Grant Stones, of course, and then I have a newish pair of Meerman loafers in a really awesome Kudu pattern. And each time you get one in the box, even if you see the pictures online, it's always going to be a little bit different. So it's kind of a surprise when you open it, pick your own adventure kind of a thing, if you like it or not. But I'm a big fan of the leather. I think it's really great for a boot application, especially if they're going to be rugged boots that you use a lot. And I like the fact that at least the upper leather doesn't generally need to be broken in. It's usually nice and supple and comfortable on the first wear. And that's no different here. These are very, very comfortable. So as I mentioned, this is not my first diesel. I do have a diesel in Navy Chrome Excel. I got those in a size 10E, 10 Echo, because at the time I thought I might be a 10.5D. This was over 2 years ago and I wasn't really understanding the boot sizing quite right, and I hadn't worn a lot of different boots. So instead of getting a 10.5D, which wasn't in stock, I got the 10E, the Echo. At first wear, they seemed okay, but as they've broken in over the years, they're significantly too big. Even when I wear them with thick socks, they're still too big. So 10D is what I have in these. That happens to be the right size on the Leo Last. I've confirmed that as well with a Grant Stone Ottawa boot that I have in Dune Chrome Excel. Those are 10D using the same Leo Last. And both these diesels and those Ottawas fit me great. So my Brannock is 10.5D technically, but I sort of go between 10D and 10.5D on the Brannock. So some things that I get in 10D can be a little bit roomy once broken in, and I'm learning that maybe in some lasts I might actually need a 9.5. But for me, for the Leo, for this, if you're looking for sizing advice, go down half from your Brannock, and that probably should be good. And when I bought these on the Black Friday sale, their full MSRP was $380, but I got 20% off for that deal that was running, and I think for then just over $300. I think these are a really nice deal. They're a well-made boot that looks good and uses nice materials in general. Since then, though, in January, Grant Stone did raise their prices. Their baseline boots now, instead of $380 or $395. $15 doesn't generally seem like much of a difference, and I definitely would not call these overpriced. At $395, I think they're probably fairly priced. But Grant Stone, who always had positioned themselves as a really value-priced brand that gave you the quality of these higher-end brands, but at a significantly lower price, are now starting to, or not starting to, they've entered the same realm as some brands like, Truman is an example of one. They have boots made in the USA even that start right there in that $395 range, maybe $10, $15 more in the low 400s. But for a boot to be made in China, which, if that bothers you, it does. There's different people in the world that care about different things and, will avoid different things for different reasons. It doesn't bother me that they're made in China. I've seen enough of Wyatt's stuff that I understand, his story and the factory that they're made there. It's not the negative type of place that some people may think of, but I digress. But when you're charging about the same as your competitors who are making their boots in America, or if you look at a brand like Caswell or Parkhurst, they're making their stuff overseas in Spain at an even lower price point. You can pick up a pair of Parkhurst Allens or Caswell Shaws in the $350 to $380 range, depending on the leather. So Grant Stone, whose marketing had always been about the value and the extreme quality, these boots that are, in my opinion, of the same quality as Grant Stone are around the same price and are made in different places. So I think Grant Stone is starting to lose a little bit of their value proposition, and they may need to retweak some of their marketing to really shoehorn in on what they think their differences are and really prove that they are putting out, a higher quality item. You can't just say it's higher quality, you need to prove it. So with that said, still love Grant Stone, still a big fan of the company, looking forward to wearing these in. Looking forward to using my Ottawas as a long-term wear boot that's going to be in my stable here on Rocky Mountain Style. So that's just the introduction real quick to my dark Burgundy Kudu diesels. If you have any questions about them, please leave a comment below and I'd be happy to answer. Also wanted to put out a big thank you to my early adopting patrons. I did start a Patreon page, got a Discord set up. We're having lots of good conversations in there. There are different tiers. There's a free tier and some paid tiers that have some cool perks based on the different price levels. If you're interested in checking that out and supporting the channel and being involved in the Discord and joining the growing community, head on over to patreon.com/Rocky Mountain Style. You can read about the tiers. If you don't feel like supporting, that's totally fine. You can join the free tier and get into the Discord general channels and have some fun with us. So thanks for watching today. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.